Happy Monday, football fans. It was a wild week 2 in the National Football League, and each and every Monday we are joined by Christian Cipollini, sports trader at BetMGM. My name is Stephen Andress, managing editor at TheLines.com. You have found the Behind the Lines podcast. On this show, we are going to look back at the week that was week 2 for the sports book. What were the biggest public wins? What were the biggest public losses? We will also look ahead to the opening lines for week number 3, and I will share a couple of the early week 3 bets I have locked in. But Christian, we have to start with just some of the wild finishes and comebacks we saw in week 2. The Jets get an onside kick and go and win. The Cardinals come back from multiple scores down and win on a fumble recovery, return for a touchdown in overtime. The Dolphins were down 21 points in the fourth quarter and stormed back and shocked the Baltimore Ravens. So with these 3 games, take us through what the live money line was on these teams when they got down as much as they did. How high did the live money line get on these 3 teams?
Yeah, it's rare to even get one of those happening, and we had 3 of them happen on the same Sunday. I mean, what a crazy Sunday. The Jets were the highest one that we had. They were plus 5,000 when they were down 2 scores with a minute 33 left. The Cardinals got us down as far as plus 2,300. And then the Dolphins were plus 3,000 as well. So, I mean, the crazy on live money lines of these coming all the way back around and winning.
Unbelievable. Anywhere between 23-1 to 50-1. If you looked at the ESPN numbers here, and in terms of the win probability, the Jets were a 99.8% probability to lose that game. The Cardinals were a 98.1% probability to lose, and the Dolphins were a 97.3% probability to lose that game. And they all come back and win. Welcome to betting in the NFL. Just absolutely wild. And I can say I will never have a luckier day betting because I had all 3 of those teams to cover the spread as dogs. So I should either stop now or go play the Powerball because that was just absolutely insane.
Can't
but anyway,
Christian, about beat for a while.
Never. I mean, I absolutely. The next bad beat, I'm zipping my trap. I can't complain about it at all. All right, let's look at the overall picture here from week number 2 at BetMGM. Was it a win for the public or a win for the book in week 2?
This was a book winning weekend for sure. A lot of those dogs that came back and won were good for the book, although the Dolphins one was the biggest public win that we had on there. So, I mean, going on the live betting along with the pregame, they were the biggest one for the public.
Any other big public wins for you guys that you saw the public win other than the Dolphins in week 2?
Yeah, Sunday night was good for the public as well. Majority of the money was on the Packers, about 75%. And then the 49ers was another one where we had lopsided money, about 60-70% of the money on the Niners as well. So those were the three biggest public wins from the weekend.
Okay. How about the flip side here? What were some of the biggest public losses?
So, yeah, last week we talked about how we needed the Seahawks on Monday night, which ended up being, outside of the playoffs, one of our biggest winning days on a straight game. And we actually had one close this week. The Cowboys upsetting the Bengals there. About 95% of our bets were on the Bengals. We couldn't write a Cowboys ticket all week. So that was a great result for the book.
I was just going to mention real quick, Christian, hats off to our lead writer, Eli Hershkovich, who boldly bet on the Cowboys to cover that spread because he was in the very small minority of people betting on that side, and they go on and win outright. But go on. Any other public losses there?
Yeah, a couple others. Broncos Texans was another big one for the book, along with Falcons Rams. Falcons coming back and covering there was pretty big for us.
Yeah, they didn't cash on the live money line, but that must have been a big live spread for the Falcons, and then they come back and get inside the pregame number. That was just absolutely insane. How about Monday Night Football tonight? We got a doubleheader here tonight on Monday Night Football. The Titans at the Bills and also the Vikings at the Eagles. Are you guys still possibly flipping this week from a book win to a book loss, depending on what happens in these? Or are you guys sitting pretty here?
We're still sitting all right. What'll help is the 2 games. Like, we're really lopsided on the Bills. About 90% of our bets are coming on the Bills. But we're a lot closer on the Eagles Vikings game. Majority, we have about 65% of money line bets are on the Vikings, and then about 70% of the spread bets are on the Eagles. So we have people taking. If you want the Vikings, people are taking them on the money line, and if you like the Eagles, people are taking them on the spread.
So you would love a 1-point Eagles win tonight.
Yeah, that'd be ideal for the book. Yeah, and with the Bills at least not covering would be the ideal night.
Yeah, that's an interesting one to me because the matchup has not been good for Buffalo in recent years, being able to stop Derrick Henry, and the spread is just enormous off of the Titans' loss in a coin flip end of game situation, and obviously the Bills looking electric to start the year. So big number here to start the year. I'm curious if the Bills just come out and look Hollywood like they did in week one, or this matchup comes back again to make it difficult on this Bills defense. Very intriguing matchup there in terms of X's and O's for me. Christian, let's look ahead now to the week 3 slate for the NFL, and let's start with the Thursday night kickoff here, the Thursday night football on Prime Video.
Yeah, not as good one as last week, Chargers Chiefs, but this week Thursday night, Steelers at Browns. Browns open up as 3.5-point favorites, and the total's 40.5.
No bet for me in that one. Just a comment that I think the Steelers offense has looked like one of, if not the worst offenses in the NFL, but there's a pretty good competition going on for that. There's some really bad offenses through 2 weeks, but Mitch Trubisky behind that offensive line just looks really bad right now. And I have no interest in betting on the Pittsburgh Steelers to cover spreads as dogs when I can't even rely on their offense to get 5 yards per play in a football game. So,
defense to score there.
Yeah, seriously. And on the flip side, I'm not sure I really want to back Jacoby Brissett to cover more than a field goal. We saw how that worked out against the New York Jets just a week ago. How about the early slate of games, the 1 o'clock Eastern time openers in week 3 at BetMGM?
Yes, we have Ravens at Patriots. Raven opens up as a 3-point road favorite, total 44. Bills at Dolphins. Bills are 4.5-point road favorites, totals 51.5. Bengals at Jets. Bengals still a 4.5-point favorite here on the road, and that total is 43.5. Saints at Panthers. Saints are 3-point road favorites, total 40.5. Lions at Vikings. Vikings are 7-point favorites. That total 53.5. Chiefs at Colts. Chiefs another road favorite, -6.5. Total 46.5. Raiders at Titans. Raiders are 1-point favorites on the road as well. Total 45.5. Eagles at Commanders. Again, same story. Another road favorite. Eagles 4-point favorites. And that totals 50.5. And finally, from the 1 o'clock slate, Texans at Bears. Bears are 2.5-point favorites at the total 38.5.
Couple notes here for everybody. Keep an eye out for Eli Hershkovich, who has not lost a bet against the spread through 2 weeks now on the NFL. Keep an eye out for his articles. I think that Kansas City-Indianapolis game is one he has his eye on, but I think he was hoping for a 7, so we'll see if he still likes it at 6.5. For what it's worth, the August opener on that was about 2.5. Obviously, the Colts have looked terrible, but they also were down their number 1 wide receiver and their best defensive player. If they get those 2 guys back in Michael Pittman and Shaq Barrett, maybe this is a little bit closer to what that opening line was, but hard to argue with the line movement, in my opinion, from what we've seen to make the Chiefs a bigger favorite in this one against Indianapolis. And perhaps the entire market was just too high on Indianapolis coming into the season with an old quarterback and not many pass catchers behind Michael Pittman. We'll see. And also depleted secondary. So I can't argue with the line move there. So we'll see how that one plays out. The one bet that I made in this window to start is the Baltimore Ravens -3 at New England, Christian. And listen, I'm just going to go back to Baltimore. I feel very fortunate that I cashed a Miami +4 ticket in week 2, but that Baltimore offense was extremely impressive, 8.8 yards per play. That's the most yards per play for a team to lose a game since the Texans played Cincinnati back in 2020 when they lost, having more than 9 yards per play. So that's an offense and a team that I have now confidence in. This is 2 straight weeks where they've looked fine offensively to me. and they now play a New England team that I don't have any confidence in. I mean, they've been barely able to move the ball, to score the ball. It's only 17 points against Pittsburgh in week 2. So I think I get an elite offense here against a struggling offense, albeit on the road. But 3 would be my stopping point. I'm not interested at 3.5. But -3 is fine for me. I think there's a good chance we see a blowout in this one. Let's move on to the afternoon slate of games here, Christian. The 4 o'clock window on Sunday for week number 3.
Yeah, just 4 games in the 4 o'clock window. Jags at Chargers. Chargers are 7-point favorites at home. That total 47.5. Packers at Bucks. Bucks 3-point favorites. That total 43.5. Falcons at Seahawks. The Seahawks are 1.5-point favorites. Total 42.5. And finally, from the 4 o'clock window, Rams at Cardinals. Rams are 4-point road favorites with the total being 51.
So you mentioned Green Bay +3 there on the opener for week number 3. I think we've seen a little bit of money come in here as we've been recording on Green Bay. And as I pull up the odds here, it is still at 3. Earlier this morning, I was seeing 2.5, so a little bit of early money on the Bucks. But I think this is a game that I'm going to bet as well. I'm going to take that +3 for Green Bay. I think that there's a chance Mike Evans gets suspended from the on-field hoopla from this past week. If that's the case, I think there's a good chance they're down him and also Chris Godwin, who had a hamstring last week. I don't think they're going to rush him back. Julio Jones missed week 2 as well. What exactly are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers trotting out there in terms of a passing offense with a depleted wide receiver core, with an interior offensive line that's down 2 starters from the preseason, and their left tackle Donovan Smith? We'll see whether he plays or not, but our injury insider and injury expert Will Carroll told us that if he does play, he's going to have a brace on that elbow, and it's a pain tolerance situation. So against an elite defense, I think the Packers have a top 5 defense in this league. They needed Jameis Winston to pull a full Jameis Winston to win that game last week and cover that number with a deep ball that turned into a punt, basically, and a pick 6. So, I have more confidence right now, despite not having Devontae Adams. But paired with that defense, I have more confidence in Aaron Rodgers to be able to manage this game and get inside the number of a +3. Primetime slate now, Christian. Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football.
Sunday night, we have 49ers at the Broncos. The Broncos open as 1-point favorites, total 43.5. Finally, Monday Night Football, Cowboys at Giants. Giants are 3-point favorites, total 39.5.
Yeah, I fired some early bets here, man. I'm not going to lie to you. I have one more for you in this primetime slot, and it's the San Francisco 49ers. I think that, in my opinion, with Jimmy Garoppolo now the quarterback, they should be rated ahead of the Denver Broncos now that we have stability at the quarterback situation. I think they had a lower floor with Trey Lance, more volatility. I think with a healthy Jimmy Garoppolo, that volatility is far less now. I think they are stable, and I think we now have a team that was very close to being the NFC champions last year. And possibly we'll see if they get George Kittle back this week or not. I'm not sure. But regardless, the Denver Broncos have not shown us that they are up to the level of the rating that they had in the preseason. And I think this line move from an opening line of Niners +3 back down isn't an overreaction. I think it's appropriate. And I think the Denver Broncos, with their defense as well, I don't care what they did to the Houston Texans. This is still a defense without Vic Fangio that was 20th in yards per drive allowed last year, 20th in DVOA. And I'm going to continue to remain bullish on the 49ers, especially now that Kyle Shanahan has an experienced quarterback to go back to and cook up some scheme and some offense here against what I think is a fraudulent defense in Denver and a very questionable offense, to say the least, with Russell Wilson. They still seem to be figuring it out with Nathaniel Hackett and a new head coach. Christian, any other final thoughts here before we head out here? As always, really appreciate the insight.
Yeah, I mean, I got to agree with most of the bets he said there. The Ravens, for one, I mean, that to me seems they were rolling. I have no trust in the Patriots either.
Like, I don't think Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are walking through that door for Bill Belichick.
No. If they get up a few scores, I don't see the Patriots coming back like the Dolphins had the ability to.
For sure. All right. Best of luck, everybody, with week number 3. As always, be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit that like button. Let us know in the comments who you like in week number 3. All the best sportsbook bonus offers from BetMGM down in the description, as well as free contests where you can win cash and gift cards. Check out play.thelines.com, and also you can find that link as well down in the description. For Christian Cipollini, I'm Stephen Andress. Thanks for watching. Best of luck in week number 3.